ready to go, ready to rock and roll. How you doing, my man? You ready for mini camp?
Feeling good, yeah. Rookie mini camp. We get to see this draft class, these undrafted rookies, get out there. We got the news early this morning that 7 of the 8 members of the draft class were signed officially, and let's get to see them. Let's get to see them on the field.
Yeah, and again, this is kind of a skeleton type thing because there's not a lot, explain to people. It's not like there's a full roster and all that kind of stuff that's out there.
No, it's just the rookie. So the draft class, the undrafted guys. So that's 8 rookies in the draft class, another 16 that were undrafted free agents. So all those guys plus a slew of rookie minicamp invites, just tryout guys who just get invited to this event. And as far as us media, we'll only see a small portion of what they do. Some of the just stretching to start, and then some of the positional drills probably. Maybe there's some one-on-one action between linemen and wide receivers and DBs, but not really anything in the team setting. And, of course, it's going to be a very soft, install of what the Dolphins do, how they run a practice. Of course, a lot of these rookies that are there, a lot of the ones trying out, won't end up with the team through the rest of OTAs and mandatory minicamp and then training camp. So you don't want to go showing them your whole playbook when they're just going to be somewhere else later. But, we just get to at least see them, just see them in person, see them in a Dolphins uniform, and see how they move a little bit.
Yeah. Do you get you're going to get to interview a couple of rookies, I would imagine?
And interviews, of course. Interviews with the 8 draftees. I don't know how many or if the undrafted guys will be made available, but in the past we have, but those were also some smaller draft classes where we got some of the undrafted guys, so we'll see how that part goes.
Captain Ums and Ahs, do you guys get access to the coach?
No Mike McDaniel press conference today at rookie minicamp. It's about the rookies.
Okay, no, I'm just wondering if the coach happens to actually address not that there's really much to address. They'd only ask him about Tyreek Hill at this point. That's probably what you guys would end up asking him about Tyreek's top 5 quarterbacks, right?
Yeah, what has happened since the last time we spoke. So, we last got Mike and Chris Greer to wrap up the draft. So this is basically an extension of that rookie minicamp. Maybe we would get to ask about some of the undrafted guys that we found out in the hours after the draft. But, Who
intrigues you? Who intrigues you out of the undrafted?
Out of the undrafted, BJ from UCF, BJ Adams, right? I got the cornerback will have.
You want to finish the name?
Yes, Brandon or BJ Adams.
The acronym. You just don't want to just leave the acronym all by itself. You got to finish the name.
Yeah, in an article, in a professional article, I'd have to make sure I write out first and last name, of course, and then refer to him by last name the rest of the way. Maybe on the show, me and him were on a first name basis already.
Listen, if you were covering the Houston Texans when Deshaun was there, or maybe Justin Tucker, then you really wouldn't have to adjust much. But, in this case, yes, you have to be a little bit more clear here what's going on. You know what I'm saying? So it's certainly not that. What do you like about the player?
Yeah, a quarterback will have an opportunity and definitely has, the size and coverage skills that could land him a job. But obviously, as an undrafted guy, it'll be an uphill climb. But certainly the opportunity is there on the Dolphins. And they have had success in the past finding corners that were undrafted. So you look at just Storm Duck just last year, Kader Kohu a couple of years before that. Nick Needham was a success as an undrafted corner. So Chris Greer has had his successes finding those undrafted cornerbacks. So an opportunity there, along with the kid Ethan Robinson from Minnesota, who will be another one of the corners. And, of course, the drafted kid that they had was Jason Marshall from Florida, a Miami kid, Miami Palmetto. So I also want to see Nate Noel was a running back, wide receiver type, maybe hybrid offensive playmaker. Went to Miami Northwestern. was at Appalachian State and then Missouri. So Dolphins picked him up undrafted. So another local kid. Love to see that.
Okay. Did you catch Terron Armstead's comments or interview on Pro Football Talk? Or no, it was with Sims, right? Chris Sims? Whatever Chris Sims is doing. I don't watch.
Was it the Tyreek Hill one?
Yes. 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 I'm sorry if I catch. Do you happen to have that? You do, you bastard. You are awesome. You are freaking amazing. Yeah, please play his reaction to Tyreek Hill. So not only Furones, but others may not have heard it that are watching or whatever. Go for it.
That's the thing. And I want you guys to hear me loud and clear.
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill is extremely intelligent.
Right.
He loves and knows how to get engagement. And he loves to try. He could have, I promise to you guys.
Yeah.
Him and Tua might have been sitting next to each other.
Right.
While he's saying his top 5 quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Quarterbacks.
Right.
Like Reek maybe never even seen Baker Mayfield play. He's a smart guy. He just
knew that'll do that. Right. Okay.
Let's you know what? I'm bored. Let me get him going.
Listen, you can never say a bad thing about Terron Armstead, the person, the player, the professional, all of that. The only thing you can ever say, man, the guy had durability issues. That's about it. That's the only thing. And here's the other thing you can say about Terron Armstead. He is going to play Mr. PC in public 100% of the time. One, Tyreek Hill is not intelligent. He's proven that over and over again. Two, if he was intelligent, he probably would have addressed that question in a whole different way, in a more professional way. You know what I'm saying? And he wasn't simply trolling and all those kind of things. Is he a troll to a certain extent? Yeah. And then Armstead had another comment when they asked him about being soft. And
it's no word. The toughness thing is crazy. I had never had any association with lack of toughness.
Yeah.
So that I kind of like was numb to. I didn't even hear that. Like that ain't
right.
That's not even a part of nothing. We are a tough team. We have been a tough team. We've seen come down in training camp joint.
All right. So no, they're not a tough team. They haven't been a tough team for 40 years. It really doesn't matter who's there. I get it, dude. Is Terron Armstead tough? Of course. Is Zach Sealer? Do you think I'm going to say that Zach Sealer isn't tough? Of course he's tough. So is Tim Bowens. And so is Jason Taylor. And so is Zach Thomas. But their teams folded like a cheap tent every time. Just because they're tough doesn't mean that their team was physically and mentally tough. They weren't. The Dolphins haven't been tough in many ways, physically, mentally, in 40 years. They fold in every big moment. That's what they do. It doesn't matter if you go way back into the early 80s where you got Theismann stripping the ball from a surefire interception that would have changed everything in Beaucamper. Shit like that's been happening forever. Them getting owned by the Bills in the 90s. Them going to the Super Bowl against San Francisco and getting thoroughly embarrassed, or against the Redskins and Riggins running all over them, or nowadays, whether they run into the Ravens and they punch them in the mouth, or whoever it is that the Bills now own them, they've always been a soft team. Just because they have certain players. You think I'm going to call Paul Soliai soft? No, I'm not going to call Paul Soliai, but he played on a soft team and a soft organization. Why? Because you never come through. You never beat the good teams. You rarely ever win playoff games. In decades, you have won less than a handful of games in decades in the playoffs. So again, Armstead is super classy, but he's also super full of shit. Your stage.
Yeah, there's degrees of toughness, right? Like these guys are NFL players, so of course they are extremely tough by nature to reach those stages of professional football and accomplish things that a lot of tough
individually
in the world.
Individually.
Yes, right. But then collectively as a team, as a football team in the NFL, then by those standards of going against other tough individuals, tough SOBs, then no, then there's sort of like a pecking order of who the real tough teams are, and then where the Dolphins rank among that. And I think the front office understands that and is trying to fix it. That's why you saw such an emphasis on the trenches in the draft picks and first 2 picks going to the D-line and O-line. Later on, getting 2 more D linemen. So you're seeing an emphasis on the trenches. The highest priced free agent contract so far went to a guard. So that's an emphasis. That's investing on the offensive line, like Chris Greer said he would. So I think, there is an attempt to fix it. And it is interesting how when you ask players about this kind of stuff, then they'll still look at you and answer to you like, no, we're tough. That's that's what we do.
You're gonna question Jalen Ramsey? No, dude. I know Jalen Ramsey's a tough mofo, bro. I get it.
Of course.
But sorry, dude. You were part of a soft ass team. That's just kind of the way it goes. I'm sorry. It's not your fault. I'm not gonna blame Zach Thomas, but dude, you guys, unfortunately, you failed in most of your big moments. That's just kind of the way it goes. You know what I'm saying? So I love that. And again, Armstead, super classy. He's not ever going to trash anybody. It's just not.
Right. But yeah, it extends to things like short yardage woes, where the team can't pick up the 1 yard on 3rd and 1, 4th and 1 at the goal line. Late in the season, I would ask offensive linemen, and God bless Robert Jones, who answers to it, Aaron Brewer, who are tough guys, of course. They're starting linemen in the NFL and making it to those levels. But yeah, relatively, when you're talking about it's short yardage, O-line versus D-line, they're admitting, that's when you go one-on-one, mano-a-mano, and got to win those battles. And then the Dolphins line was largely not winning those battles. So it's like you see it right in front of you, but then it's so hard for them also to admit it. They're going to tell you, oh, yeah, we're tough. Like to Terron Armstead's point is, he's going to say, no, there's no question about our toughness.
It's not that Terron Armstead failed. It's not like he folded.
Oh, no,
he did his job in those key moments, and I get it that he feels that way. But sorry, dude, that's just not the collective definition of your team.
Oh, and he battles through injuries like none other. So, I mean, there was no questioning Terron Armstead's toughness, because he plays through a lot of things that a lot of guys would be out several weeks on IR, on maybe end of season for them. So, he roughs it out through some things that are unimaginable for a lot of players.
For Christ's sake, he was playing on knee, bone on bone here.
Yeah.
So obviously he was, that's very, very painful for a player at his age and the amount of miles that he has. That means all the surgeries he's had, all that cartilage is gone, dude. All right. So what are you working on so the folks can check you out in the Sentinel, my friend?
Yeah, going to have everything rookie minicamp on our sunsentinel.com website. Check out the Dolphins page. So, really interested to hear some more from Kenneth Grant. Jonas Savaianaya, the 2nd-round pick, offensive lineman. He was the only one that still hasn't signed. So I already do have a story on the Dolphins signing some of these guys. But, maybe hear from him as well, along with the later picks. And we'll see what we see from the undrafted guys, too. Which I also want to make note. I didn't make note of the receivers earlier. There's a talented group of receivers that went undrafted, and maybe some of them can stand out and claim a roster spot later on. So get our first glimpse at those guys as well.
They do have a couple of tall receivers in there. So right, one of the guys in the draft class or undrafted, and then obviously the free agent. So they addressed that. The only thing is, will this coach finally implement bigger receivers into the lineup actually to help your shorter quarterback? You know what I mean? Having an Oompa Loompa throwing to Oompa Loompas, that just doesn't make a lot of sense. Get them bigger targets to make life a little easier for do you remember what was Drew Brees' biggest safety blanket throughout most of his career? Can you guys name him? Marcus Colston. Very good. Very good. Marcus Colston. Was he a fast guy? No. Was he a big guy? Yes. Could he run routes? Yes. Could he catch the ball? Oh, hell yeah.
Hey, and another one, great example, Jimmy Graham.
Right.
That was
the
he gets Jimmy Graham.
Right.
So
that was the tight end.
Yeah.
And they were strong at guard and center. They made sure the pocket was strong for Breeze. And then he also found him big receivers and a big tight end. And he did that consistently, and a running game. New Orleans could always run the damn football. And that's exactly what you do with a player like Tua. You know what I mean? The problem is we have a guy that wants to rewrite the record books and rewrite the game and all that. And you really can't rewrite the game, bro. If you can't dominate on the line and run, it's really hard to win in this league. Just ask Marino, bro. Just ask Marino. And that's the problem with this team. They play a Marino-style offense without a Dan Marino. You can't do that without a Dan Marino. Just can't.
Here's another one for Breeze. Antonio Gates, when he started off with the San Diego Chargers.
Yeah.
Before he got to the Saints. So, yeah.
And he had a couple other big tight ends there besides Graham that I'm kind of forgetting. One guy that used to play like the rock star guitar when he would catch. I forgot. I think his.
Oh well, shit. Even Jeremy Shockey also. After the Giants, he went to the Saints.
Yeah, exactly, dude. Mm-hmm. And then after Colston, they had that kid that's kind of a head case that people here in Miami were talking about him last year and the year before to come join Miami. What's his name, dude? He's a head case and he's like 6'3". I forgot his name. He's been suspended. He's gone at it with the coach when he was there and all that. I forgot the guy's name now. He's a problem child. Michael Thomas.
Oh, Michael Thomas. Yeah.
Michael Thomas.
Yeah, right. Who was elite. Thomas. He was elite, like leading the league in receptions type of.
And I believe if you look it up, Michael Thomas is like 6'3" or something like that. So he was a big target too. And these are things that are elementary, my dear Watson. 6'3". I have too much shit in my head. Anyway, it's just one of those things that to me, that's how you build a team. And it's a shame that that's not what they've done around Tua, because that's how I would build a team around Tua.
Yeah. Well, let's see. What one thing that gives me confidence is he implemented Jonnu Smith into the offense last year when there was no tight end presence before. So, one at a time. You got the tight end in the offense. Now let's see if they get the running game back in, if they use the big wide receivers. So
it took him a month to get Jonnu in, so he'll get the big receivers involved by like December. Okay, I got you. I got you. What?
So what you're saying, Furones, by the time he turns Shula's age, he'll be Shula?
Oh, yeah, there you go. There you go.
Well, shit, then you really got to stick with him for a long time. So I don't know if Big O's ready for that.
Oh, God, yeah. Mr. Ross, just give him the 30-year extension right now. All right, follow him on Twitter at David Furones _ and catch his work there at the South Florida Sun Sentinel. Go do your thing, young man. Appreciate you. Have a great weekend.
Yes, sir. You too.
You got it. Welt and Rheaume, 954-966-4646. Jeff Welt, big suffering Dolphins fan. And of course, he's a huge Canes fan. You can talk sports with him because he's hurting just like you guys. Daniel Rheaume, he walks in to a courtroom and he goes, why does he do that? Yeah, because he is the Iceman. He's a stunt pilot, dude. So walking into a courtroom ain't shit for him, man. 954-966-4646. Whether you're dealing with bankruptcy, unfortunately, I know a lot of people are dealing with that. Our credit card debt in this country is at an all-time high, record high. People are putting their groceries on pay later credit. It's bad, folks. So I understand if you're dealing with bankruptcy, don't be embarrassed. That can happen to me. That can happen to anybody. homeowner property damage, condo damage, criminal defense, business owner claims, commercial litigation, personal injury, whatever's going on. If you were caught at a Diddy party, call Welt and Rheaume, 954-966-4646.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.